At some point, at retail shops and fast food restaurants in our little corner of the world here in Shawnee, it became normal to hear people say, "Have a blessed day." And this week, as I read our gospel and considered Jesus' words on blessing, and I've heard people say to me around town, "Have a blessed day," to borrow an expression from my friend Ashley from Alabama, it called me up short. And I don't have a problem with the idea of a blessed day or even offering someone a blessing. But I do wonder, well, the truth is, I feel like I'm sure that we could cheapen the idea of blessing. We could empty the idea and the word of its power and meaning if we hear it all the time. This send-off reminds me of a line from the movie Idiocracy. If you've seen it, it's a dark comedy about this dystopian future 500 years from now, and 3 huge companies run the world. And in this one scene, all of the main characters go to Costco. And this Costco is the size of the city of Shawnee. And when they walk into the Costco, the greeter says, "Welcome to Costco, I love you." And he says that to everyone who walks in. Again, I have no problem with love, or even telling people that I love them, or even going to Costco. But I do think it's possible that we could say a word in a way and use it so often in a certain way that we could destroy its meaning. Well, this past week, I've wondered what the word blessed even means. When people say to me, "Have a blessed day," I assume they're praying that my day will go well and that God will bless my day. And I assume they're wanting me to think about God. Usually I just assume they saw the collar and they feel like they have to say something religious to me. If we say to someone, "You are blessed," we're marveling at their happy circumstance. We see they have nice things, or maybe a nice job, or maybe a loving family. And so we look at them and we say, "You are blessed." But Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor." Not poor in spirit, as he says in the Sermon on the Mount, but the poor. And he goes on to say, "Blessed are you poor, blessed are you hungry, blessed are you who weep now, blessed are you when people hate you and exclude you on account of my name." We feel many things about the poor. We pity the poor, we blame the poor, we hope we are never poor, but I've never heard anyone say, "The poor are blessed." But Jesus did. Blessed are the poor. So what did Jesus mean? I know that when he said this, he did not mean that because you have written a check to my ministry, God is going to bless you. Do you remember the prayer of Jabez, that book? God is just waiting for you to ask so he can open the storehouse of blessings. Well, I promise you the people in Jesus' day were asking. I promise you there were people of faith. The majority of the population of that city was living day to day. So Jesus was not promising material goods and money. Jesus, according to Scripture, was poor himself. So when Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor," he was saying, "In my eyes, you are beautiful. In my eyes, you are held in high esteem. The world may walk over you, treat you with contempt, but in my eyes, you are worthy of honor and glory." This word is similar to the Hebrew word ashrei, which is in our psalm today. Blessed is the one who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or sit in the seat of mockers, or stand in the way of sinners. Ashrei could also be translated to be congratulated. Another way of understanding what Jesus is saying is in the story of Jacob and Esau. They're fighting for their father's blessing, for Isaac's blessing, and you're wondering which child is going to get it. Well, I've had a few friends in my life who never received their father's blessing, and they spent their whole life trying to earn it, even after their father was gone. Jesus was saying to the poor, the hungry, the mourning, the persecuted, my eye is on you. I see what you are enduring, and I love you. And I want you to know I realize how this might sound. Many of the truly poor people I know, if I were to ask them if this makes them happy, knowing God holds you in high esteem, many would say, well, they'd rather have the kind of blessing that would mean shelter and food and clothing. And I don't think God is ignorant of that fact, and I think that's actually what Jesus is trying to do here in this Sermon on the Plain, convicting those of us who have the means to help and who have committed ourselves to follow in the way of Jesus to help these people who are so favored by him. I don't know why Jesus calls the poor blessed. I don't know why he holds them in high honor. But I do know that I have a friend who's a priest. He's at a small church of about 45 folks, and he's a really convicted Anglo-Catholic. And he came in the middle of COVID, so he never really got to meet his church. He hasn't quite connected with them yet the way he would like to. But he has morning prayer every weekday. He has noonday Eucharist every day, evening prayer every day. And for a long time, it was just him at morning prayer and evening prayer. Until one day, he's sitting on his front porch, which faces Main Street. It's nice. His faces Main Street. His porch is open to Main Street. And he sees a homeless gentleman walking down the street. So he invites him to come up on the porch and sit with him. They speak for 2 hours. He finds out this gentleman has gotten a job at Taco Bell. He hasn't been late. He's been working hard. And he's saving money for a place to live. So they help him. The church helps him get into an apartment. And then he shows up at morning prayer, noonday prayer, evening prayer, day after day after day. And he can't read, but he's memorized the service. And my friend told me the prayers that he says when he thinks no one's listening while he's waiting for the service to begin would break his heart every time he hears them. There's another homeless gentleman who was a meth addict, who started coming to noonday services a few days a week. And he kneels and prays for a half hour before the service begins. I don't know why Jesus said the poor are blessed, but my guess is that it has something to do with that. Because it's easy for me to rely on my savings account or my education or all of you to know that I'll be supported and cared for, but for them, they only rely on their faith in God. Maybe that has something to do with it. You see, we need to become convicted that if we are going to restore a sense of wonder in this kingdom that God is trying to bring to the world, that God could actually change us and change people. No matter all the evidence that our eyes give us that it can't work, we have to believe that it can. This will require us to trust, to have faith that we can change ourselves and change others. Because we're waiting for a kingdom where centurions, instead of fighting, show up and ask Jesus if he'll come and heal their servants. We're waiting for a kingdom where tax collectors give back all of the money they took without cause. We're waiting for a kingdom where young married couples don't run out of wine at their wedding. We're waiting for that kind of kingdom. And Jesus says when we learn to trust and hope and have faith like that, that we will also be like that tree we heard about in Jeremiah this morning, who sends its roots out into the streams, is not afraid of the heat or the drought, and bears fruit all year long. And so we wait. We wait until we can learn to trust. We wait for the level place Jesus preached at. But I think God is waiting more than we are. See, we're waiting for God to make us all brothers, and God is waiting for us to start acting like we already are.